Chapter 1. Why Your Emotions Are Lying to You.
Let's start with something most people never want to hear. You can't trust your feelings. I know that goes against everything you've been told. Follow your heart. Trust your gut. If it feels right, do it. We've built an entire culture around the idea that emotions are sacred, that they're always valid, that they're telling you some deep truth about reality. They're not. Your emotions are liars, and until you accept that, you'll never be free. Here's what's actually happening inside your brain right now. Every feeling you experience, every spike of anger, every wave of anxiety, every moment of fear is a chemical reaction. That's it. Cortisol, adrenaline, dopamine. These chemicals flood your system and create sensations that your brain then interprets as feelings. And here's the critical part. These systems were designed for survival, not success. Your ancestors needed fear to run from predators. They needed anger to fight off threats. They needed anxiety to stay vigilant in a world where danger was everywhere. That emotional programming kept them alive long enough to reproduce. Mission accomplished. But you're not running from saber-toothed tigers anymore. You're sitting in meetings. You're having difficult conversations. You're building businesses and relationships and careers. And that same prehistoric emotional system is actively sabotaging you. Think about the last time you got angry at work. Maybe someone questioned your idea in a meeting. Maybe a colleague took credit for your work. Your heart started racing. Your face got hot. You felt that surge of rage telling you to defend yourself, to attack back, to make them pay. That's your amygdala, the ancient part of your brain, interpreting criticism as a physical threat. It's responding the same way it would if someone threw a rock at your head. But nobody threw a rock. Someone just said words. Yet your body reacted like you were in mortal danger. Your emotions are treating every challenge like a life or death situation when it's not. And it gets worse. Your brain has something called a negativity bias. Scientists have studied this extensively. Your brain registers negative experiences at roughly 5 times the intensity of positive ones. 5 to 1. That means you're biologically programmed to catastrophize, to assume the worst, to see threats that don't exist. One person criticizes you and 5 people praise you, but you'll obsess over the criticism. You'll replay it in your mind. You'll build entire narratives around it. Why? Because your brain is scanning for danger, and it's finding it everywhere, even when it's not there. This is why you spiral. This is why you overreact. This is why you lie awake at 3 a.m., replaying a conversation from 6 months ago. Your emotions aren't giving you accurate information. They're giving you exaggerated, distorted, survival-based interpretations of reality. And here's the worst part. Every time you react emotionally, you're reinforcing the pattern. Your brain works on a principle called neuroplasticity. The pathways you use most become the pathways you use most easily. Think of it like walking through a forest. The first time you walk a new trail, you have to push through brush and branches. It's hard. But walk that same trail 100 times and it becomes a clear path. That's what's happening in your brain with emotional reactions. Every time you snap at someone, you're deepening the neural pathway that says, when I'm frustrated, I lash out. Every time you panic when something goes wrong, you're carving a channel that says, when there's uncertainty, I collapse. Every time you seek validation from others, you're building a highway that says, my worth comes from external approval. You are literally training yourself to be weaker with every emotional reaction. But here's the powerful part, the part most people never realize. If you can carve pathways through emotional reaction, you can carve new pathways through emotional detachment. That's what this entire book is about. Not suppressing your emotions, not pretending you don't feel, but recognizing that feelings are suggestions, not commands. They're data points. They're signals, but they don't get to make your decisions. Think about the most powerful person you've ever met. Maybe it's a CEO. Maybe it's a mentor. Maybe it's someone in your family. What did they have in common? They didn't react. They paused. They thought. They chose their response. When someone insulted them, they didn't explode. When something went wrong, they didn't panic. When they were afraid, they didn't run. They felt all of it, every bit of anger, fear, and frustration. But they didn't let those feelings drive the car. That's emotional detachment, and it's not a personality trait. It's not something you're born with or without. It's a skill, and like any skill, you can build it through practice. Starting today, I want you to practice something simple. Label your emotions. The next time you feel something intense, anger, fear, anxiety, whatever, don't identify with it. Don't say, I am angry. Instead say, I notice that I'm feeling anger. Do you see the difference? One makes you the emotion, the other makes you the observer of the emotion. I notice fear. I notice anxiety. I notice frustration. This tiny shift creates space between the feeling and your response. And in that space lives your power. Because here's what you need to understand. You are not your emotions. You are the consciousness that experiences emotions. You are the awareness behind the feeling. And when you realize that, truly realize it, you become untouchable. Your emotions can scream, they can rage, they can beg, but they can't control you. Not anymore. That's the key. Your emotions are ancient tools designed for a world that no longer exists. They're not bad. They're not wrong. They're just outdated. And the moment you stop treating them like facts and start treating them like feelings, you take back control. You don't need to fight your emotions. You don't need to suppress them. You just need to stop obeying them blindly. Feel them fully. Acknowledge them completely. Then choose your action based on who you want to be, not what you happen to feel in the moment. That's freedom. And it all starts with understanding this foundational truth. Your emotions are not the enemy, but they're also not the authority. They're passengers in the car. You're the driver, and it's time you started acting like it.
You've just learned why your emotions lie to you. Now you're ready for the next level, because it's not enough to understand that emotions mislead. You need to know what powerful people do instead. You need to learn the difference between reacting like everyone else and responding like a master.